All right, so got Mr. Land in the background. So again, breaking down I'm breaking down my sheet into nine sections and labeling each of the sections as a HPS, usually an HPS setup, and those setups can be found again on the dashboard. If we go to the dashboard real quick, if I could show you fast here, just kind of review again, like I want to record this, so it'll be easier for me to show it to you over here. Over here. Turn that off. And so right up here we have the playbook plays, and that's on the dashboard. So right up here we have all these setups, and those setups are really defined for you there. There's about 10 of them. Each one, how to, what the 1, 2, 3 pattern, the wedge pattern, coil stochastic setup, the channel breakout, X marks the spot, the ES techniques, the ES trading techniques, triple threat signal. And I actually going to always add some new ones on there, some that need to be updated and so forth. But that's where you would find them. You just open up the thing. If you say you wanted to try X marks the spot, you would open that up, and you would see that video. That video would just pop right up and start playing.
Hey everyone, this is Dave.
Like that, and it's a pretty decent size. Pretty cool. So that's that. So that's what I'm breaking these down into. The piece of paper I'm actually breaking them down into. That piece of paper of those setups. So again, Agilent here, not much. The potential lane divergence, and I'm going in alphabetical order right now, so I'll make it easy. Advanced auto parts, always a good one. Starting to turn over. It's hard. There's nothing. We're looking for something that's perfect. So if it's not perfect right now, or going to be perfect in the next day or two, I'm going to just not mention it. Some of these are just turning back down. And again, on the buy side or sell side, it's just I want to be able to catch the turning points, the pivot areas that are happening, the signals that are telling us the pivots area. Here's a great example of that little lane divergence that happened here. And we followed through, a nice 4-day follow through. It did pull back. Again, the market had some weakness here. And like we say, market news trumps everything. So even though it's a great setup, it happened at the time that everything else got hit. You can see it across all charts just about. There's a few standouts, but most of the stocks have that same 3-day move down. Like I said, there's a couple holdouts, but not many. Even in the stronger stocks like the AGNs. Alchemy is interesting. It's oversold on the daily, probably oversold on the 60. It's on a trend line. It's definitely interesting. But until this news, we get past this news, I'm not really that interested. Plenty of time. We'll be here all the time, every single day. We could skip a week here of volatility. Allstate in a lower part of a channel, what we call a wedge pattern. Looks interesting, but nothing great there. Alexion, American Tower, and Taylor's very strong. APD, breaking down ARG, Ash. So again, I'm just going to pause this one video here. Don't need me to know if I find something, I'll bring it back on. Coming back to the AWK, the coil stochastic, the channel, a little breakdown, the trapdoor trend line. This would be a really interesting level down below us, but we might not even get there. This is one of the stocks I've been in this stock a long time ago, but it's been years. And take a look at that nice pullback. I mean, it does start to look pretty good. So that lower trend line that's right underneath us, it comes in around 47.50 to 47.60, give or take a little. It looks like a great level there based off of the strategy setup. AWK. Today someone asked about head and shoulders formations and how I talk about those head and shoulders coming inside of an upward channel, and that's where we see that head and shoulders. And the same thing in the downward channel here, and you break down and you kind of retrace, and sometimes it makes that low, and then you make the head and you pop out and then you retest and you push a little bit higher. But you could actually see there's a little base down here, left shoulder, right shoulder. I mean, you could start to make that argument. I would just make an argument there's a base there. But with the market the way it is, it's not holding, love to have gotten, everything got pounded the last couple of days. So, you're going to see that disturbance in the chart. Now, does it correct and move back up? Let's hope so right now. You never want to use that word hope either. Again, the Boeing, some great names here, but here is a scenario, Brazilian foods, and again, haven't traded this one in a while. Sometimes we talk about this established trend that's broken and then a retracement, and we call this the 180 rotation of the stochastics after a channel line break. So this kind of represents maybe an underlying trend that's developing. So you have that, maybe an underlying trend. You get the rotation. That usually gives us a level to get back in to wait for that follow through. That's a possibility. It's not that reliable at this situation, but something to see. I'm not even going to write it down. I have not been interested in this stock in a while. On the other side here, just to let you know, I want to go over this again. Just crossing my Twitter feed here, Jeff Hirsch, Stock Trader Almanac, a fellow Nyaker, great product. He tweeting out that July 1st is the most bullish day over the last 21 years. And again, you can go to almanactrader.com. Jeff Hirsch, this is his Tumblr here. You can see this right here. And then you have the full image. The July 1st trading day is the fourth best performing. July 1st trading day is the fourth best performing first trading day of all 12 months, with the Dow Jones gaining a cumulative, or whatever the word is, cumulative. I don't know why I can't say that word. 852.55 points since 1998. Cumulative. What am I thinking about? I'm just reading it wrong. After the past 21 years, the Dow Jones Industrial Average first trading day of the July has produced gains of 81% of the time. 81% of the time, with an average gain of 0.5%. So interesting that we're getting that. No other day of the year exhibits this amount of across-the-board strength, which makes a solid case for declaring July 1st the most bullish day of the year over the past 21 years. And that's his argument there. It sounds good, Jeff. So tomorrow it makes it very interesting. And I still have my market radar to do. I want to do that next after this. Just in a little review right now for myself, but getting sidetracked here and there. CAR is interesting. All right, here we have CBS, and CBS I'm in. And I got in over here. I got in thinking that we had that good 1, 2, 3. Never did touch that lower trend line. And in this case, we did push up here. We're actually positive on the trade, and then it did break down. But such a good stock. It didn't. I'm not taking it off. Even though we did have that breakdown, I'd like to see that retracement back up here. Today we started off, in a weird. I don't know if we're going to call that a fat finger trade or whatever that was. But then it kind of messes up the chart there. I'll go back on the daily. And so other than that, it was pretty much sideways all day long, staying an inside day. We're oversold on the daily. The hourly, it could move. It actually can move a little lower. But I think we're very close to bouncing on this. back on. I'm just going to post this video out there as a review. I left off here talking about Colgate-Palmolive. I just want to point out that normally this bearish flag, we want to pay attention. You know, this is basically a micro 1, 2, 3 pattern. 2 pivot area, 3 pivot area. It hit 4, but we're oversold here. Everything lined up here perfectly for a sell signal. And instead of going short on this flag, on this bearish flag, even though there is a good shot that we continue down here, it's just, you know, you want to be able to go long with it oversold, turn into, you know, oversold, you know, giving us that buy signal. And this is your short signal. It always feels better short into that strength, even though it sounds like it could be destructive in nature, but it depends on what type of setup you're looking at. If the overall trend is down, you have to step up to the plate and short into that strength. I mean, that's the only way to really guarantee a good fill. And Clorox here is just trying to roll over too, so you still have a little downside here, even though you are bouncing off of this. But you can see how fast we rotated up. We didn't make any new highs. We started to fail. We're starting to rotate over. The momentum is down. So it does look like there's some more downside here. ConocoPhillips here, right on support. It's so tough. I don't like horizontal support like this. I like more of the, you know, the trend, the downward trend lines, the pressure on the downside, X marks the spot, the patterns. This is a little bit more difficult. Lots of times we'll gap down and close back up. But it is weak. Costco, though, is on my, on my list. You know, Costco, I think, is definitely on the list to pick up here soon. It's just got oversold off the daily. Had to try to get a bounce here. It failed. It pulled back down. It's underneath the 200 now. It's off the recent highs. We'll call it 153. It's 130. Coming down to 133. That'll be 20 points off the highs. 131. I would be interested in it there. No problem. 131. I want to put this one down focus list. Focus. And I want to put that in COST as a focus stock. I know some of the stocks we'll watch on the chart live each and every day instead of having, today was Priceline. It was, we had some Sam Adams up there, which actually died out at the end of the day, but there were some other good ones we had up there. So Costco here look to be on the focus list tomorrow. Credit Suisse, it's holding up pretty good. Cablevision, not interested. I should take it out. CVS, very interested. This goes under the category of flags. And CVS, also it's strong stocks. I usually make a category for strong stocks. So far we have flags, we have possible lane divergences, we have coiled stochastics. There's only one in that. I have strong stocks, I have shorts, and I have focus lists. So the strong stocks, CVS goes both under flag and under strong. That's a really good one. Deutsche Bank, interesting, but not. Deere, interesting day today. Nothing else here. Disney here, strong stock. Let's just put it under strong stock. Discovery, something about it, it wants to move higher. It feels like it wants to go higher. It's just very hard in this environment to time that. But you can see that what we're doing is we're kind of embedded here. Well, that's what it is there. Dolby, not interested. Dunkin' Donuts, extremely strong stock. I'm not in this. Diplomat here continues to be very strong. And I keep on mentioning this. I've never taken the opportunity to get in that, though, yet. DRI, Darden Restaurants, the restaurant company, very strong. Again, normally the stocks you're going to find on this focus list are quality names. Now, DirecTV, the AT&T merger going through, so there's not really a trade there for me. Probably take that off the list, but we've traded the heck out of this one. Every time it's pulled back down to the 80s, we've gotten on board. This one here, Tight Stops always brought us to this one, and that still looks like one of my favorites. And it continues to look unbelievable. One of the strongest stocks out there. I mean, can you write this one down and just kind of watch it the next couple of days? This thing could explode. There is no weakness in this. It is bulletproof. Let me tweet out when I'm on the air. All right. So we have to do that too. I have a lot of things to do today. So DXEM here, awesome name. Also, if we're out there, if you I don't tweet a lot of crap. So I like to do that. I tweet important information. Sometimes trades and stuff. But if you're on Twitter and you want to follow, it's at DayTrading Radio. At DayTrading Radio. That's the Twitter account. I try to be a little active on it, kind of update you on the news, special shows. I got to take more action. I only have 2 arms. I mean, sometimes I'm just juggling things. I pay attention to Twitter most for my news flow. So George from Alabama saying that the DXCM is due to the Supreme Court rule in all of the U.S. medical issues. You know what, George? I thought about this the other day. I want to actually become an expert on some of these biotechs and drug and pharmaceutical stocks. I think there's so much money to be made in this sector. I don't care what you say. They're overextended. They are. But there's always people. If you're going to pay money, people are going to pay money for their lives more than anything. So you get yourself in the right company. That's the first thing I would be spending my money on. If they could, a medicine to make me feel better, get me well, make me live longer, cure my cancer, do whatever you know what. That's where money's going to go. Let's take a look at those 3. We got a couple people in the room here hanging out, so let's take a look at those 3. George from Alabama mentioned a few med stocks that might get bought out. RCPT, Receptos, that looks very strong. I mean, look at this. RCPT, I love it. Absolutely love it. ALDR. Jesus, look at these. These pharmaceuticals that are flying under the radar, there's so many out there, but when you look at the charts, these are the charts you want to be a part of. You just don't know what's going to happen. RDUS, I know this one, Radius Health, but look at the chart. I got to write all these down. Those 3 might get bought out. Which is the best bet on being bought out? And why, apparently all of them think they're going to get bought out. Great list there, George. Yeah, I looked at Radius before. I could see some of my charts, my flag back here. And, again, we're at a situation where we're kind of extended. But, it just feels too strong. And that's a good thing. It just feels so strong that you might not get that pullback. Now to get back to where I was. Where was I on these? DXCM. And we have Brinker. I always love trading this one. I mean, this one's kind of extended, starting to roll over. Could break down. ECL, Ecolabs. Done that. Con Edison. Again, utilities, just not into it yet. Express Scripts here, pretty strong. Is it a flag? We'll pass on it. Again, we're going to cruise through these. Fastenal hasn't performed like I'd expected to, but again, market's taking its time. It's still setting up as a flag, but it does look a little weaker now with the daily stochastic here rolling over. This is not faring well for that. Omega Man, bringing up a stock right now is ZIOP. See, that looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like a nice flag. It's a drug stock, Biotech. I mean, there's two conflicting things. I mean, lots of times we like, a good stock that's ran up and we've pulled back. The timing is important on this. How do you figure out when this is actually going to kind of pull back off of this? Well, you got an oversold level. That kind of worked out. A lot of these things here actually, are pushing back up, and you get, you're crossing back over, you feel it down. But when you get oversold, we're not really selling off here. So from this point to this point where we got oversold, there's not really much of a sell-off. At that point, you got to think that, it's holding up pretty good. But it doesn't get much of a lift here. And then finally getting some lift here. The volume's coming in. I don't know the story behind it, but it appears to be consolidating. If it was a quality name and you knew you had just a company that had a stable, stable financials and stuff, chart looks very positive. But if this is a momentum type of trade and, it's based off of one drug and people are speculating on it and, everything's living on one thing, it's hard to know what the underlying story is. But if it was a good story, looks pretty good. All right, let's see here. Fastenal, Facebook. All right, we went to Facebook. Let me just go through these here fast. FedEx, Fossil, no. First Solar, no. Fortinet. That's a better flag. General Dynamics was flagging out. Gilead flagging out. General Mills, again, earnings out tomorrow morning. Gold has been weak. Corning's been weak. Generac, waiting for the first hurricane of the season. Generac is generator sales. Generator. Specialty, generators. Generac. We've traded this successfully during Sandy. I did a whole article on generators and stuff like that back whenever Sandy was. Anybody have a date on Sandy? I mean, I'm sure I could get it as fast, but New York was severely Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Timely claim files back about that. So October, was it? It was Halloween. So it was 2012 Halloween. Let's go back here on the daily. I hope I could go back to the daily here. I can't go back on the daily. I can probably go back on a weekly though. All right, so here's your October 5th. This is weekly. We kind of gapped up into that hurricane approaching. It did gap up, and then after the fact, after the hurricane, it did move quite a bit. I mean, it went from 25 to 38. That's a nice move, and then from that point on, it's been moving all the way up. I mean, so that price at that point was about $26. We'll call it $25 to $26. It's back down to $39 now. Hurricane season comes around. This will eventually get a little pop. I mean, I bet it pops on on the first significant storm. It's fun sometimes to follow those, to be a storm tracker and find something you could trade off of it. A lot of people do that. Home Depot. We used to do it when there was any severe hurricanes. It seems those have been gone since, for a while. But, that's the weekly. Let's take a look back at the daily now. Did I bring this to myself? I just crossed it. Does anybody notice that this is divergence here? We took out the lows there. We didn't really cross back over to the downside. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. I would put this on a focus list for tomorrow, just so let's talk about tomorrow. If we cross back up and maintain this level, even though we've kind of spiked lower and took out the lows, previous lows, which represents that's a really interesting divergence there. All right, so let's put that down for a focus stock for tomorrow, GNRC. Let's continue on. We still got 100 and something stocks. Google, just upset about Google. If the market has a big day tomorrow, though, these could all be up 20 points. GlaxoSmithKline, interesting. Very interesting. It's pulling back here hard, coming back into a pattern. Goodyear Tires has pulled back. Hack has pulled back. Home Depot chopping around. Again, Home Depot actually looking okay. Talking about hurricanes and hurricane season. That will be a trade. We will be on that trade this year. Generac. Now IBM is interesting. I'm going to make a list for IBM for future, or keep it on for continuation, building a position here. IBM looks really nice. It just did close on the lows. It's still being affected by news. IMAX pulled back. International Paper, not interested. I mean, these are good shorts so far, but again, news. Juniper, Joy Global, not interested. JP Morgan, nice flag, but not interested. Coca-Cola, Coors. I'm being beat up on Coors. Lenore actually holding up okay. Liongate Films actually nice little flag. Laboratory Corp, LH here, hasn't been affected. It's interesting. I want to put this one as LH over on a strong signal setups. Not interested. LUV. Monsanto bounced today. Marathon Petroleum has been showing really good consolidation. It just has not budged at all. MPC, Marathon Petroleum. Navistar, a little rumor out today. Nike Some news out on Nike after the close. Oshkosh Trucks, no. Occidental, nothing. Palo Alto Networks here bouncing back effectively. PCAR off of an underlying trend line. It's interesting. PEG. You know, nothing jumping out at me. PKG is still crap. Only got a few more to go here. Price Smart, always a good one. See beer here, tap here breaking down a little. Taser, nice bounce on Taser. Hey, thanks, Gas, for posting that Oppenheimer letter in the room. Tractor Supply Company, we're down to about 20 more stocks. Tractor Supply Company, Under Armour, UHS is very strong, UNH. So many. I remember wanting to short Whirlpool back here. We're starting to show some divergences back there. I mean, National Bank of Greece, the last one on our list right now. You know, definitely a gamble. But if things work out here, who knows? You know, it could probably gap up. It could probably move back up here towards that $2 range. Definitely a little gambling involved with that one. That's it. I mean, I kind of did a fast little run through there. Not much coming up, and it's again, you know, you just kind of stuck inside this this news bound you know, trade. I want to post take a look at some of these lane divergence setups. Nothing really there. Allstate, nothing really there. No, I'm not seeing anything here. That one's in PCG here. PCG, Pacific Gas and Electric. It does appear to be one a little. Agilent appears to be one. So I'm not having a lot. Just a kind of a little fast review on that. We have coil stochastic looks interesting just because it's such a pretty setup. It's a playbook play. We've seen this setup so many times. It was called a coil stochastic channel breakout. And usually want to buy it as you kind of compress down here and you get closer to the lower trend line. Now, that might be as close as you're going to get. You might get a little closer. It's utility, waterworks, so utility stock, water utility. You know, utilities haven't been great. But something I watched. Definitely tomorrow is Costco on the focus list. As we come down to that lower trend line, we're oversold, quality name. And then GNRC, you know, started... maybe seeing that divergence here. This is really the only real big divergence I'm seeing. We took out the lows today. We didn't really cross back over here. It looks like we're going to maintain the momentum to the upside. And take a look at a fast 5 minute. What did that show? You know, we gapped up, we pulled back, we chopped around. I like it. I like this one. Railroads, yeah. KSU. We'll break back down here. A couple questions coming in on the railroads. You know, I think they're golden down here. This one's a double bottom inside of a channel. Typically we looked at, but any bad news and that, you know, pushes the market down, it's going to just drag these down stocks with it. But normally, if I'm looking at a, you know, like the KSU and the you know, what got us into some of these, the lower trend lines off 1, 2, 3 patterns, and we had nice bounces. We got overbought here on KSU, NSC. Oh, hold on, where did that go? Let's go back here. Come on. You know, that one had a little bounce off that trend line too, but then failed. But you can see we rotated really fast back up here. There was really no sustaining energy in this. We ran out of energy fast and we broke back down, but we also broke down quick. So we're set up again for that another bounce. So I like, the option here, buying into that weakness. CSX, same thing. Even have a potential retracement here. You have a little trend line and then a breakout and a trend line retracement. I like that a lot. You have to step up though. It's that's we have to deal with the so what happens? News comes out tomorrow. They put another proposal in that gets denied by the European Council, and just puts a little bit more pressure on things, and things just get dragged down. But yes, this has a combination of a couple different things going for it. It has that X marks the spot. I think CSX is your best bet, by the way. After that, I think the KSU, a double bottom inside of a channel, is usually a great area for a channel breakout. It's usually a lane divergence or a double bottom, and you can see these two channels. So KSU, CSX, probably my best bets on those. It's just that, and definitely the CSX, I think, a little bit more. That has a X marks the spot. It's not that far off the highs, really. Our hotels here. We got a nice candle on this one. That has a potential of being a, it looked like a potential divergence the way it had bounced today. The low here was 1938, and the low here was 1938. So kind of a double bottom, but you could see good strain today. That kind of wraps up just a little research here. Now I want to actually go into a market radar video, so I want to stop this video. This video is just a little research video, not a professional video. I was going to post it on YouTube and just kind of, in case anything came up, just giving an update. It's 37 minutes, but if you were here, you're not missing anything. Just to recap, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks that came on the list of things that are kind of interesting. CVS is a beautiful flag, also a very strong one. That falls into two categories. It looks great, the CVS. Very nice. Possible lane divergence is Agilent, but it hasn't performed that yet. But even better, and I forgot to write it down. Where is it? Where's my other lane divergence? I just had it. What was it? GNRC, was it? Yeah, it was GNRC. So that was, I have it down on the focus at GNRC. That is really, it looks like a key divergence happening there. AWK, coil stochastic, lower level here, 4750 to 4770, say. There's some stocks on the downside that are rolling over, but very hard to call, as most of the move is already pulled back. But this is a nice 1, 2, 3 short from overbought level. Looks like it's still rolling over. Do we break down out of this channel within a channel? Typically, we get a channel breakdown, channel breakdown, channel breakdown. It's not oversold yet. Looks like we can get there. So that's it. So I'm going to close this out. Just send this out on YouTube. Just a little update on some research done on Tuesday, the last day of June. Tomorrow, July 1st. Don't forget, Mr. Almanac Trader here, Jeffrey Hirsch here, posting out that July 1st. July 1st is the most bullish day of the year over the last 21 years. And again, you mentioned, I'll just go over it because a couple more people just tuning in here. First trading day is the fourth best performing first trading day of all 12 months in the Dow Jones, gaining a cumulative, see, I could say it now, 852 points, 852.55 points since 1998. Over the past 21 years, Dow Jones Industrial on its first trading day of July has produced gains of 81% of the time, with an average gain of 0.5% in advance to the 85.7% of the time average. Nasdaq has been slightly weaker. No other day of the year exhibits this amount of across-the-board strength, which makes a solid case for declaring July 1st the most bullish day of the year over the past 21 years. And that is due because the Canadians are partying. So something to look forward to tomorrow. I'm gonna stop this video. I'm gonna get my market radar video on. Actually, my market radar video is calling for an update tomorrow. As you know, on the show today, I was talking about a rally into the referendum vote, but we'll see how that plays out. Tomorrow, we're gonna have more news. Let me just shut down this again for those out there listening to this video. As you will see, it will be a video if you're listening to it on YouTube. You could join us each day, DayTradingRadio.com, where you'll see what you see right there on that video live and in person, but a little bit more, excitement behind it because the markets are closed right now, and it's coming up on a little after. Well, it's coming up on 5:30. So let me get this stopped. Have a good one. Have a good night. I'm not going anywhere for the other people hanging on the site.